Hamzah as a fighter. Hamzah, I think, is one of the best pound-for-pound future world champions.
The troubled Torres. Hey, you heard I think Ricky Funes would like him to be aggressive, and he's putting him down.
Prince Naseem bigging you up, saying our next big star. How does that feel?
He's always shown support. He's always shown support, man. He's a great guy. Everyone asks me who's your boxing hero or someone you looked up to. I always mention him, man. Always mention him, and for him to come here and show me the love, especially when like all the cameras are on as well. Like, what a man.
There's that famous moment of Prince Naseem in New York. You've just done the same. Can you be that next guy to kind of go and emulate him?
Funny, the fight week I was watching Sky Sports documentary when Naz comes to New York. I was taking so much inspiration from it. I'm not as loud and as brash as he was, but the way he conducted himself and the way he went about the fight and whatnot, I took a lot from it. Ever since my last 5 or 6 fights, he's been there ringside. They're in disbelief of how bad I beat him up, that they've had to stoop that low to accuse me of being a cheater. They haven't been on the receiving end of a beating like that. It's a bitter pill for them to swallow.
They said he was too quiet, too patient, not built for boxing's brutal spotlight.
And he's just caught him there, and he's got him staggering, and is this the moment for Sheeraz? Starting to apply the pressure. It was only a short shot, but it's...
But Hamzah Sheeraz didn't need noise to make waves. He let his fists do the talking, and now the world is finally listening. Once dismissed as just another prospect, this towering British-Pakistani middleweight is now punching his way through the rankings with the calmness of a seasoned pro and the fire of a rising star. You might have scrolled past his name before, but not anymore. Whether it's his sharp jab, pinpoint timing, or quiet confidence, Hamzah's got everything to make it big, and he's finally getting noticed. So how did he go from underrated to undeniable? Stick around as we unpack the rise of Hamzah Sheeraz, boxing's next big thing. Let's rewind to where it all began. Hamzah Sheeraz was born in Slough in 1999, but grew up in Ilford, a buzzing, multicultural area in East London. Raised in a British-Pakistani household, Hamzah's early life was a mix of tradition, ambition, and discipline. It wasn't the kind of home where dreams were left on the shelf. His family was tight-knit, and the mindset was simple. Work hard, stay grounded, and carry yourself with pride. Boxing wasn't just a sport in the Sheeraz household, it was part of the DNA. His uncle boxed professionally, and his father had a strong background in amateur boxing. So naturally, gloves and pads were just part of the furniture. There were no shortcuts, no silver spoons, just a kid surrounded by the rhythm of the fight game. At only 8 years old, Hamzah put on his first pair of gloves. Some kids are built for the ring, and he was one of them. Tall for his age, focused beyond his years, and already showing the poise of someone who knew exactly what he wanted. From the start, it was never about showing off. He wasn't the loudest in the room and didn't need to be. What set him apart was his discipline, sharp, patient, and relentless. He quietly worked his way up the amateur ranks through his teenage years. He collected regional titles, got noticed for his technique, and slowly built a reputation as one to watch. Trainers praised his balance and jab. Coaches talked about his maturity, but still he stayed under the radar. And that's the thing with Hamzah. He wasn't trying to chase cameras or scream his name into microphones. He just kept grinding. In 2017, at just 18 years old, Hamzah Sheeraz stepped out of the amateur shadows and into the bright lights of professional boxing. It wasn't a small move. He signed with Frank Warren, one of Britain's top promoters, a serious nod of approval for any rising talent. For Hamzah, it was the beginning of a new chapter, but his approach didn't change. No big talk, no drama, just get in the ring and handle business. His debut was clean, no nerves, no wild swings, just sharp, technical boxing. That set the tone. In his early fights, Hamzah looked like a young fighter with an old soul. He stayed calm under pressure, used his jab like a sword, and followed instructions like a sponge. His fundamentals were solid, and everything he did looked tidy. Nothing flashy, but very effective. He wasn't trying to go viral with wild uppercuts or showboating moves. He wasn't jumping on Instagram after fights shouting names. He'd show up, take care of business, and disappear back into the gym. That quiet professionalism started to turn heads, not with noise, but with results. Still, critics weren't fully convinced. In those early pro fights, Hamzah was called promising, but not essential viewing. Analysts highlighted his rare height, 6'3" at super welterweight, is a nightmare matchup, but questioned his power. Could someone that tall at that weight really carry the kind of pop needed to compete at world level? His style, described as measured and calculated, often got mislabeled as dull. But people who understood boxing, the real students of the game, saw something deeper. His footwork was improving. His distance control was a textbook. And most importantly, he was learning fast. Fight after fight, Hamzah got better. He didn't skip levels or chase headlines. Instead, he focused on defense, refined his combinations, and grew into his frame. Each round he boxed was a lesson. Each opponent taught him something new. And then, just like that, the knockouts came. The patience had paid off. The jab now had a right hand behind it that could end the night. That measured approach, it turned clinical. Hamzah wasn't just a prospect anymore. He was becoming a problem. It's one thing to outbox your opponent. It's another thing entirely to put them on the canvas. And around 2019, Hamzah flipped that switch. With each new bout, he began sitting down on his punches more. The jab remained sharp as ever, but now it was followed by right hands that cracked through guards. His bodywork improved drastically, chopping down his opponents like a lumberjack. One of the turning points came when he faced Paul Keane for the WBO European Super Welterweight title in 2020. Many saw this as a test. Keane was experienced, tricky, and tough. From that point, he started getting noticed, not just as a prospect, but as a dangerous contender. People who once questioned his power now feared it. Commentators who doubted his flash now praised his clinical destruction. Hamzah wasn't just winning, he was dominating. Still, the world stage hadn't caught on. While others grabbed headlines with controversy or showboating, Hamzah just kept showing up and shutting opponents down. The underrated label stuck, but not for long. As Hamzah filled out physically, he moved up to middleweight. And honestly, it suited him perfectly. The extra weight gave him more strength without sacrificing speed or movement. The real game changer came when he began facing higher-ranked opponents, fighters with real experience and ambition, and Hamzah dismantled them. In 2023, he faced River Wilson Bent and dominated, showing refined accuracy and ring IQ. But his true breakout moment was his 2024 fight against Liam Williams. Williams is no pushover. He's a former world title challenger with a reputation for toughness and aggression. Many believed this would be Hamzah's toughest test, but he passed with flying colors. Hamzah stopped Williams in just one round. Yes, one round, sending shockwaves through the middleweight division. Suddenly, the narrative shifted. The media that once called him patient now call him explosive. Former critics now call him a future world champion. Fighters in the top 10 started mentioning his name, not as a prospect, but as a threat. Hamzah Sheeraz had arrived. So, where does Hamzah Sheeraz go from here? At just 25 years old, he's barely hitting his prime. His record is spotless. His resume is stacking up. And his style? It's made for the big leagues. He fights tall, uses range beautifully, and isn't afraid to mix it up inside. Add to that his calm demeanor, media humility, and strong work ethic, and you've got a fighter promoter's love. Hamzah's ranked in the top 10 by major sanctioning bodies, and a world title shot is no longer a question of if, it's when. He's already made it clear that he wants the big names, Jermall Charlo, Janibek Alimkhanali, and even Jaime Munguia. And here's the thing, he's not calling them out for clout. He genuinely believes he can beat them. And why not? He's got the tools. Tall, skilled, powerful, and getting better every fight. His sparring partners sing his praises. His coaches believe he's championship material. Even veterans like Amir Khan have spoken highly of him. More importantly, he's got that rare aura, the quiet killer. The guy who walks into the ring with zero drama and walks out with another win. Fans are starting to love that. In a sport full of noise, Hamzah is the silence that follows the knockout. He's already headlined shows, packed out arenas, and built a loyal fan base not just in the UK but across South Asia. For British-Pakistani boxing fans, he's becoming a source of pride and representation, much like Amir Khan once was. And if he wins a world title in the next 12 months, which many think he will, his rise will be complete. But one thing is clear already, Hamzah Sheeraz is no longer underrated. Hamzah Sheeraz's rise has been slow, steady, and stunning. From quiet beginnings in Ilford to explosive knockouts on national TV, he's proved that patience, hard work, and skill still matter in boxing. No gimmicks, no trash talk, just pure talent. If you haven't followed his journey, now's the perfect time to jump on board, because this is just the beginning. Will he be the next world champion out of Britain? All signs say yes. If this is your first time hearing Hamzah's name, it won't be your last. So hit that like button, subscribe, and join us as we follow his climb to the top of the middleweight mountain.